First thing you're going to want to do is scroll to the correct week, and the acknowledgements will come up. So you can acknowledge all the shifts at once or push the check marks on each individual one. If there's an issue, hit an X and that will alert your management that you weren't able to, for some reason, work a shift. Then it will take you to your shift planning. And I can see that I have a retail shift at Ace Hardware Cherry Creek and an event at the Parker's Farmers Market on Sunday. So the first thing I'm going to do is check my distance for Ace Hardware Cherry Creek. So I'm going to click on that shift. It'll have some shift notes for me that will be helpful for the actual shift. And then at the bottom, there's a GPS. So I'm clicking on that and it'll take me to either Google or Apple Maps. I can see here that Cherry Creek is less than 30 round trip miles. So this one wouldn't count. So I'll go back to Humanity and go back to my shift planning. And now I'll look for the Parker's Farmers Market and click on that shift title. Then I'm going to click on the GPS provided and it will upload it to show me that this shift will be in fact more than 30 round trip miles. Looks like the one-way distance is 23 miles, so round trip is 46. So I'm going to take a screenshot of that by clicking both sides of my phone and I'll store it for later. Now I'm going to go to my Google Chrome app on my phone. I already have the link bookmarked for the mileage report. I'm going to click on it there, and you can see that it'll bring it up for me automatically every single time. So it's really convenient to do that. You can click on the top right of the URL on your web browser. It will pull up options. So you want to scroll down so you can do edit bookmark or find bookmark. You can change the name from Mileage Expense Report to whatever you like, but that's how you bookmark it. And pretty self-explanatory when you fill it in. Put your name, pick the date of the shift that you worked, and then make sure you're using the exact title that is shown in your Humanity shift note. So in this case, Ace Hardware Cherry Creek, and the round trip miles were 12. So I would actually not enter this one. You can if you'd like, but you're not going to get a reimbursement for anything less than 30 round trip miles. So no point of taking the time and doing the extra work for a shift that is less than 30. All right, so the next shift was my Parker's Farmers Market for June 5th. So I'm going to click the date, type in the exact title of the shift from Humanity, Parker's Farmers Market, and that was 46 round trip miles. Looks good. That's the only shift I have to enter, so I'm going to scroll down all the way to the bottom before adding maps. So I'm going to click on that and go from my photo library, and I'm going to find that map that I saved from the GPS on Humanity, and I'm going to add that. And once it loads, it'll show you there, and then I will hit the submit button. All right, and now that you've submitted your mileage, I'm going to show you what it looks like on our back end side to process the mileage requests. So we have here the reps that have submitted mileage, the first shift date and title of the shift, the round trip miles, which subtracts 30 round trip miles from the total round trip. So it will do that for you. You don't have to do the math there. Just do the math of doubling what one way trip would be. So then we times it 68.5 cents per mile from the total. And same thing with the second shift. If you even have a third shift, maybe a team meeting or an actual shift itself, and you have more than 30 round trip miles, it will, even if it's 4, it will reimburse it at $2.74. So doesn't look like any here have any of a fourth trip. Usually you won't. So then this is the total of all the mileage, all shifts 1, 2, 3, and 4 that you may submit on each individual submission. Any other total expenses like parking or approved candy or anything like that, and activation for the event. So this is the grand total with mileage and expenses and all the maps that have been included. So we can double check that and verify that your totals are in fact aligned with what you submitted. And same thing with the expenses. So then we review it and enter it and submit it and approve it. We may mark data might be missing. Looks like there's no maps here or reimbursements at all. So we would reach back out to you and say, hey, we need those maps to make sure that you in fact with that amount of distance or spent that money